Hello, and welcome to the 20th episode of The Sheepish Magpie. I'm Carolyn, and I'm here to talk to you about knitting, crocheting, yarns, patterns, projects that I'm working on, and stuff that's kind of going on. Thank you very much for joining me. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And if you are a new viewer, well, thank you for coming and trying me out. If you have any comments or feedback, I'd love to see them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to reply. So I hope that you guys are all doing well and that you're snug. I know that all across North America, we are having quite the winter weather. Here in the Toronto area, it's been really cold the last few days, although today was a little bit warmer. As evidenced by the snow in my garage actually melting a wee little bit and being a bit slushy, where over the last couple of days it was so cold that the snow in the garage just stayed totally frozen. We had to take things out of our garage fridge. We have quite a selection of cider and didn't want the cans to burst. We learned that lesson last year, that even alcoholic drinks out in the garage, if it gets cold enough, will burst, and it's sad for everybody when that happens. I'm not a big drinker, but I do like the occasional cider, and I want it to be there when I'm ready, and I don't want to be cleaning up frozen, wasted cider slush. So we moved it into the basement, and so hopefully that's a better place for it, and our garage is just gonna stay super cold. I sent the girls off today in hand-knitted sweaters, and that felt really good. They look so cute, and they got to choose them. And so Gwen went off in a sweater. The pattern was, and the yarn was from Mary Maxim. The yarn was the Mary Maxim Ultra Meadow spun in the most gorgeous shade of bright orangey pink. It's on my Ravelry project page, and you can find me on Ravelry as Terrapin, and there is a link in the corner for you to click on if you want to check out my project pages. And the pattern was called Hooded Cardi with Bow. It was really cute, so easy to knit, a really nice fitted sweater. I've been really happy with the Mary Maxim patterns that I've purchased in the back. Their price point is so affordable, and they knit up really cute. And the Ultra Meadow Spun, although it's 100% acrylic, feels really nice. It washes up gorgeous, and the colors are really nice. So I'd recommend it. And I think that whole kit was around $20 Canadian, which you can't beat at all for a pattern in the yarn. It may have been a little bit more, but it was super, super reasonable. Jen was sent off to school wearing Baby and Toddler Tiered Coat and Jacket by Lisa Chemery, and it was knit in the Barocco Vintage Chunky in this really gorgeous kind of purple color that was really nice, and it's super cute. It was fun to knit and looks really sweet on her. It's like got a, you can see on my my project page, it has a collar and this kind of like, it looked like cupcake tears, and so they were pretty happy to be wearing those, and as a mom I felt really good sending them off in something warm for the day. So yeah. I'm off call now for 2 weeks. I'm so excited. It feels like just such a present to be off. I don't have a lot going on my plate while I'm off. I'm working really hard on my diet, and I have been getting some boxes from makegoodfood.ca. That's a Canadian company, and they send you all the ingredients kind of ready to go and the recipes, and the best part is that I can get my older kids to work on those because it's step by step. Last night's dinner was spiced steaks with kale and kale and Brussels sprout gratin, and it was kind of interesting tasting. Tasty, but I was like, this spice doesn't quite match up with the steak. I'm not sure, but when I looked later, I was cleaning up, I saw that the spice packet was actually one from another box. So I don't know if we mixed it up or they mixed it up, and it was actually Barberi spice for fish. So that may have been why I didn't feel like the match was great there, but the quality's always been really great. So that's been a lot of fun, keeps me on track, and they've come out with a kind of a clean program, so you can get the regular meals, family meals, easy prep meals, and then this one was like a clean eating, so it was low carb, high protein, kind of veggie based, and I really liked it. And the amount of veggies they send are awesome. It's a lot. So that made me feel really good, and I think that will help me with my journey. And it's also just easy, and anything I can do to get the kids cooking and taking that off my plate is a total win. I do have some free boxes because I have been subscribing for a little while. So if you're in Canada and would would like to have a free box, just shoot me a message with or an email with your email address, and I will get a coupon for a free week's worth of the boxes to be sent to you. I'm also running. I did a really good job this week of keeping up on my runs. I got my long run up to 10K and it went amazingly. I don't really know what the difference was. I did eat pretty well and I had a nap before, so that was good enough, I guess. But my head was just in the right place, and so it was really great. I mean, I'm slow. I am not a fast runner. That 10-kilometer run took me just over an hour and a half, maybe a little bit more than over a little bit over 10 and a half, an hour and a half, pardon me. But my head was just in the game, and it was awesome. It was so long. It was kind of boring. I was at the gym. I was on a treadmill. My husband ran part of it with me and then went and did something else, and then he grabbed the kids from the gym daycare while I finished up and got dressed and ready to come back home. I had tried kind of an amino acid energy drink ahead of time, and I don't know if that was the difference, but it was really great, and it was just nice to not feel like my running totally sucked, as I have been in the last little while. And I wasn't super anxious about getting the 10K done, so that was awesome. So I think that was my 4th run that week, and so my mileage is really coming up. So super happy about that. I've also been really working on tidying up the house. I've jumped on the KonMari bandwagon and got the back hallway pretty much done, got Alden's room done. I've been working on my clothes and it's in progress. Some of my drawers look amazing. Some of my drawers haven't been touched. And I've also done the kids' bathroom, so that feels really good. My mom told me when I was a kid that I had very similar habits, that I liked my clothes in my dresser to be super neat and organized and all folded and just so. And so maybe as I get older, I'm kind of coming back to some of those roots of liking things neat and tidy. I think when so many things are out of control, are out of our control, and feel like crazy, like my job and looking after 7 kids and all that kind of stuff, that the aspect of having the house neat and tidy and having things organized and know where everything is really soothing. So I'm working on that project, and that's probably a year-long project, but being off call for the next 2 weeks is going to allow me to really dive more deeply into that and get that done. And that's just for me. No one's asking me to do it. I just want it done. I even labeled coat hooks with the kids' names this weekend, and it was really nice. And when I came home, my 20-year-old son had actually put his boots in the right place. He didn't have a labeled hook, but he'd put them in where everybody else was. And I think when things are neat and tidy, the outliers behavior seems to kind of be highlighted. So if everybody else is following the rules and the kids are putting stuff where it goes, then I think my other older kids who are more likely to just toss things aside are going to put them away too. That's my hope anyway. We'll see if it kind of bears out. We have an upcoming trip coming up. It is a total dream vacation that kind of felt like it wasn't going to come together, but things are starting to come together for that. We are heading to Disney World for a few days. Adam and I are doing the running. I've told you about that before. And the mid kids are also running part of those races. We are then taking a cruise for 2 weeks through the Panama Canal. And then we are staying at Disneyland for 4 days in California before heading home. So that is our big blowout vacation for the next few years. And totally looking forward to that. So I've been doing some planning. We've got our house sitter all organized. The dogs are staying here in the house. The cats are staying here in the house. So we're having somebody come stay for the 3 weeks that we're gone. I'm getting kind of in my head the knitting and crocheting projects I want to take along. We are participating in something called a fish extender on the Disney cruises, that people sign up in groups, and this is on Facebook, and we kind of give each other presents in bags that you hang on these fish hooks called fish extenders. And so we're doing up little presents for those. So I've got all my supplies now from Amazon, so doing up those little things and hoping that the kids like what they got in return. So I've been working on that, and I need to make some more hard lotion bars for those. So looking forward to that kind of creativity. Adam's going away later this week. He's heading off to LA for a business trip. So be home with the kids managing that, but it's always kind of nice to just mix things up and have a little bit of a different routine and hog the bed and all of that kind of stuff. So that's on my plate. Miss Gwen is going to kindergarten in the fall, so we have to stop by the local school this week and give them the documents that they want proving that she lives here in town. And I can't believe it. So I think that's going to be kind of exciting for her to register for kindergarten and take a look at the school. And the local daycare that she's at, they walk the kids over. So she already knows a bunch of her classmates. They're going to continue. That continuity is going to be really nice for her. And she's super looking forward to it. She calls it her big school because we've always called the daycare her school. Just to kind of formalize it a little bit. And they do such a great job at her little daycare of teaching them and being with them. So I've always called her the daycare people teachers, and that's her school. So anyway, she's calling this her big school, and she's excited to be going with her friends and getting a new lunchbox and all that kind of stuff. So it's super cute. And she's only 3, but her birthday is before the end of the year. So she'll start JK at 3 and finish off the year 4. So that's pretty exciting. And I'm glad for her, being one of the younger kids in the class, that she is really looking forward to it. And I think she's ready to go. I think she'll do amazingly. And then tomorrow is my kid Devon's 19th birthday. And so we have a day planned. Devon chose to go out for robot sushi. There's a local place that you order the sushi off of like an iPad and a little robot brings it to you. So we're going to try that. So we're going to do that. And she was also the one getting the pincha shawl. And so I've wrapped that all up. And so I hope he likes it. And yeah, that's what we're kind of up to. And because 19 is the age in Ontario where you can drink, I'm going to take Devon out for his first drink. And maybe something frou-frou, maybe something funny, I don't know. But we're going to go out together and maybe enjoy some nachos and a cider or something like that. I'm not sure. We have a restaurant in town that's opened up, and they serve alcohol, so we might just wander up there so we don't have to worry about designated driver and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's kind of what's on my plate. I guess lots of things going on, lots of moving parts as always, but I'm so excited to be able to do it at my own pace. And I've got to get to the gym today. So the roads aren't very nice. I might just use the treadmill downstairs, but I'm hoping that we'll get out. So yeah. I wanted to do a little update on the works in progress that I showed you before. The first one was I have finished my first Clarke Sock, and I totally love this yarn. It's yummy, it's squishy, I love the color, I love everything about it. I tried it on and it just feels great. In retrospect, the only thing I would change is that I made them a little bit on the short side for where they fall. I would like them just a wee bit taller. The nice thing about where they fit me now is that they fall just below kind of my calf muscle, and so they're unlikely to fall down. But I think my own mental notes are going to be to make them maybe like an inch and a half taller going forward for my favorite socks. But these are great. They were just the slip stitch heel, which I really like. I'm not sure how it's going to wear, but it was so easy to turn the heel that way. I don't think I've done this one in a while. I usually make a heel flap or some of the other ones, but this one was just so easy, and it was like, wow, I was done already. Sometimes, you know, you knit the flap and then you got to pick up stitches and then blah, blah, and then you're doing your decreases on the foot. But with this one, it was just super fast, done and over with. So I definitely like that. And if it wears well, I'm interested in doing that again. What I might do too with that heel is also to try doing double-stranded knitting just for the heel to give it a little bit of reinforcement and see if that's strong enough. But these socks are, you know, more for nice wearing. They're not hard work socks or hiking socks, but these are awesome. And I have gotten down to the first repeat on the second sock. So not too many more to go before I can turn that heel and get them finished. So hopefully within the next week or so, I will have them both finished and off my hooks and ready to put on my feet. The other project that I did get some good progress on was my Comfort Fade Cardi. And my Comfort Fade Cardi is in a bit of a place of I got the second sleeve almost done. I'm down to like the very last little bit of my fade on my sleeve, and this sleeve caused me problems because I knit the second sleeve. I was really happy with it. It's all finished. Excuse all the loose ends. I decided to do a ribbed cuff rather than the pattern because when I did it the first time, I think I showed it to you, it just was kind of hanging loose and I didn't really like it. Well, when I went back and after I finished this one and decided to change it and I went back and read the pattern, I realized that I was a bit of an idiot, and the reason the cuff didn't work right is because I hadn't knit it right. And according to the pattern, it should have had the last, all of this fade part was actually supposed to be done in garter, not reverse stockinette. So it should have been, knit 1 row, purl 1 row, and that would have kind of brought it in a little bit more, and that's why it wasn't really working for me. So I was a bit disappointed that I didn't follow the pattern because I'm kind of a rule follower and that irritated me. But saying that, when I looked through some of the projects for people who have done this, about 10% seem to have done a ribbed cuff. And I like the way that it will match kind of the bottom of the cardigan with the ribbed bottom. And I think I'm going to enjoy wearing it more than just a looser sleeve, because I really don't like it when my sleeves fall down. See, I just pushed these ones up. So I started on the second sleeve and realized that, again, I had made a pretty big idiotic mistake, and I hadn't switched to the smaller needles for my second sleeve like I was supposed to, where I was supposed to, and so it ended up being too wide and they didn't match. So I pulled that out and re-knit that part. So I re-knit that part of the sleeve twice. So now I'm just at the very last little bit. I should be able to finish this off shortly. I've just got the last, I think I'm sitting at around here. So I've just got this little bit and then it's finished off. So that's terrific. And if you watch my previous video, you'll know that I was feeling pretty stressed out about picking up all the stitches around both sides and the cowl neck. And I was having a coffee date with my friend, the designer Evie Scott, and she mentioned she didn't mind picking up stitches. So half jokingly, I said, well, you can do it for me. She's like, sure, I don't mind. I'll do it for you. And I was like, no way, that would be an awesome gift. I don't want to pick up these stitches. And so she said, sure. So she took it and she picked up my stitches. And so she's got them all on the needle ready for me to go. And so now the sleeve is on some waste yarn, and the live stitches are now this cowl collar, and they're all picked up, and I don't have to do that. So thank you, big shout out to Evie Scott for doing that. Now I feel like I can just work on the cowl part of it and get this one done. Now when I looked at the number of stitches, the cowl looks like a pretty big chunk of knitting still, but I'm getting closer and closer. So that was fun. And Evie said it was really weird working on somebody else's project because she felt like maybe she wasn't picking up the stitches perfectly and that I would notice. And it was funny, but it's also just weird to be knitting on somebody else's knitting. It's such a personal thing. So that was new for her. So I promised her in return I would block something because I don't mind blocking. And I think that Evie was not as fond of blocking as I might be. So that was our trade-off. So yay, that was fun. And I feel like I got past the block with her help and can just finish off this sweater and hopefully have it done before the weather gets too warm. And if not, I'll get it done and then look forward to it next fall. So those are the updates on those two things. And then the other project I have to get cracking on is the Henley sweater for Jen, made out of the Ella Ray alpaca. And it's really close to the end. It's probably just a couple nights of knitting, but I just haven't been into that project for a while. But her birthday's coming up in February and I want to have it done before her birthday for a birthday present. So I need to get going on that, because if I don't, it's not going to be for Jen. It's going to be for some random kid that I don't know yet who it's going to be, because it's not going to fit her anymore. So yeah, that's where those projects are. Just finishing up on the socks. Was working, and so I'm hoping over the next 2 weeks to get quite a bit of work done on my works and projects and get going. I did have a little bit of cast-onitis this week though, and have planned a few projects. And the first one that I planned was again a present for Jen, because I have had this yarn in my stash for a little while and this pattern planned, and I haven't knit it, and she's going to grow out of it. So the pattern is a Purl Soho pattern for, sorry, excuse the manky photocopy, and it's the easy pullover for babies, toddlers, and kids, and it's a Purl Soho pattern. And what I was attracted by is the relative low yardage required for it. So I bought 3 balls at a knit shop in Newmarket, and really love the color. It's called Flower Pot, and it's this great orangey peachy color, and I think Jen will look great in it. And I bought three skeins of it to make, I think, the 12-month size. Well, Jen's not 12 months anymore, so I had to go online and I ordered a few more balls so that I have enough to make the more toddler size. But it's super soft. It's acrylic and wool and 12% merino, so it's really soft and squishy. And I think that the pattern with the simple seed stitch kind of collar here and bands will be really fun, and I think it'll be a quick, easy knit. So again, I'm hoping to get that done for her birthday, and that might be one of the things I bring on the cruise to knit with me and finish off, because that should be pretty easy holiday knitting. The other thing that I cast on was this gorgeous sweater called Mira, and it is a lacy pullover with a deep V, and that might turn off some people, but so many patterns are crew neck, and I don't really find that crew necks are all that flattering for me. Here's a picture of the pattern longer. Like, it's just gorgeous to wear with leggings, and I have been wearing a lot of leggings recently. My friend who does the She Must Knit podcast, Erin, introduced me to sweet legs, and that's pretty much all I want to wear now. I'm actually wearing them right now, these sweet legs ones, and so now I'm looking for sweaters and cardigans that I can wear with leggings. So this cardigan looked perfect. I had a sweater quantity of the yarn lying around that this is Quince & Co. And this, sorry, I just have some notes here, make sure I get it right, is Lark, and it's 100% yarn. It's 100% yarn, 100% wool. Super nice. It almost feels cottony, which is really bizarre. And it's in this color called Damson, which is this browny gray kind of purple color, but I love it. It's kind of a nice neutral with just a splash of color. And I cast on the stitches, and then I did nothing else on it. It was so funny. Once I cast on, I was like, I don't know, do I want to knit it? But I think I'm back in the spirit. I think it was just where I was with work and not wanting to do anything too complicated and lacy. And that one definitely will be something that I have to count stitches. But now it's on the needles, and I can get started on that, and I look forward to wearing that one. So that I cast on. My mom for Christmas got me these interesting needles by Prim, and they are really interesting double pointed needles, and I'm curious to try them. They have these little tips. This part of the shaft is round. This middle part of the shaft where your fingers are is triangular. And then again, it's repeated on the other side. The problem is that these are US 8 needles, which I think is 5mm, and there's not a lot of patterns that require that size of needle, but I really wanted to try them out. And so I had some yarn in my stash. I've got 3 Hanks skeins of this yarn, and it's the yarns of Richard DeVries in the colorway Solstice, which I adore, with this yellows and grays. I'm really into grays and yellows these days. A little pop of bright orange, a little bit of blue. And the pattern that I found that would fit the needles, it's the funniest thing, I don't think I've ever chosen a pattern based on the needles that I wanted to use, but I really want to try these out, was this Red Heart Relaxation Socks. It was a free pattern, it was easy to find, and it uses these needles. So I'm going to make these relaxation socks in this yarns of Richard DeVries. The yarn is 100% superwash merino, so that should be a good fit. And I'm going to cast those on this week. I think I will discipline myself to wait to cast them on until after I finish the other socks. And I haven't knit a pair of worsted weight socks in a really long time, so I'm hoping they're going to go really quickly, and it'll be kind of fun, and I'll get those done in a speedy kind of way. And then I've saved the best for last, and I'm going to show you first the gauge swatch. This is a Alta Truth. It is 80% merino, 20% alpaca. It is light as a feather. I wish I could show you. It has such great stitch definition. It is a total joy to knit with, and it is so super light. And what I'm knitting is this pattern. I'm drawing this out. This pattern by Evie Scott, my friend Evie Scott, and it is her famous pattern Quill. And this is what Quill looks like. Quill has this amazing feather detail on the back, and it is a cardigan that will go so well with leggings, and in this gorgeous turquoise color. So the thing I love about Evie's patterns is how well laid out they are. So they've got a nice picture on the front. You can see all of the details of the pattern, and this is the measurements page. This woman is a math genius. She's helped me out on a few things. She helped me out on my Comfort Fade Cardi, not only casting on that cowl part, but she also helped me modify the sleeves. I wanted them a little bit wider, but she helped me figure out the underarm modifications so that it would fit right according to my body. And her patterns are just absolutely gorgeous, a total joy. Really simple, really clear, really well written with lots of pictures. And she's always on Ravelry providing support. So I can't give her patterns a big enough shout out. If you're looking to knit something and you want some clear patterns that look visually nice to use and to read with predictable results, I totally recommend Evie Scott's patterns, and this quill one in particular. Now, I've had a sneak peek of some of the things that she's coming up with in the next little while, and I think you'll be pretty excited to see some of those things. So check out her project page on Ravelry, her designer page. She also has a forum on Ravelry that she hosts to talk about some of her stuff. And if you have any issues or questions, she'll answer them for you. So that's my little shout out to Evie and her designs and that project. So yeah, those are the 4 things that I'm kind of looking forward to casting on, and I'm going to try to finish the socks. I'm going to try to finish my Comfort Fade Cardi in the next little while, and I'm trying to finish Jen's Henley cardigan. So hopefully when I do my next video, I will have some of those things finished and off the needles and ready to show you, and maybe even blocked. That would be pretty great. I'm going to sign off now, and thank you so much for joining me and for watching my videos and supporting me. If you haven't subscribed, I'd really love you to, and if you would be so kind as to hit like, that would be terrific as well. If you have any suggestions or projects that you'd like to see or things that you'd like to talk about, please give me a note at the bottom and I will do my best to accommodate. I hope that you have a terrific week. All the best, and I hope that your week brings you some rest, some relaxation, and the ability to pursue the things that you love. All the best. Bye now. Take care.